I'm out here to do a field test on this Motorola Defy satellite link, and I've got some mixed results, but let me get into it and tell you what I found real quick. I started out at my home in around Larkspur, Colorado, went down to Colorado Springs, up through Woodland Park, up to this area, which I don't know what it's called, but it's a campsite. Pikes Peak is out there, and basically it's near Cheeseman Canyon and Deckers, Colorado, if you want to know general area. And after this I'll be heading back to Sedalia and back home. So what I'm doing is, right now I'm actually facing north. Now I bring this up for a reason, because this satellite communicator does best when it's facing south. The high altitude, or the satellites which are high orbit, there's one on the south. I don't know how many there are, but it's better if you're facing south. Right now this is facing north. I don't know how good a satellite communication it will get, but it'll blink red or green here in a second, and it's green, so it's still getting the satellite connectivity. What I did though is I put this device, this Defy, in my dashboard of my truck. So it was getting a satellite straight up, or to, well, depends on where I was driving, but it was also through the windshield. And I've been having a bit of an issue recently with this device, and depending on where I'm at, and am I in a building with a pretty big window, do I have a clear view of the sky, is there any obstructions? And the satellite connectivity is not always perfect. Now on this trip it's done really well. When it's been in my dashboard and just sitting there along with my Garmin GPS Map 67i, it got really good reception, at least till recently. Now part of this was I was in Colorado Springs and Woodland Park, and I had cell service. As I was getting close out here, I was passing through Deckers and Cheeseman Canyon. I was using the check-in on the device and on my satellite communicator both ways, and on my device I would type in, I was going through Woodland Park and I typed in Woodland Park, through Deckers I typed in Deckers, and then Cheeseman Canyon, and so forth. Then on this you just hit this button in the middle on the left and it sends a check-in. But as you can see on the screen right now, when I was going through Cheeseman Canyon, it wasn't getting connectivity. It shows that I have connectivity here, but it wasn't sending it. It wasn't, I have another phone, it wasn't receiving it on that. And when I get home, I'll double check everything, but I'm getting mostly good reception and good check-ins. But out here at Cheeseman Canyon and up here at this campsite, it's not perfect. Now there could be some reasons for it, because the other phone I have uses Verizon. My current phone that I use uses AT&T. There could be some issues with that. And here how I'm looking, it shows I have connectivity, but it would probably be better if I was looking south rather than north. There's just a couple things I want you to be aware of besides that. And when I was doing a check-in this morning, this button over here for the SOS, it does not have a cover. And when I was selecting this check-in, I inadvertently hit the SOS button. I double checked to make sure I wasn't actually sending that SOS signal out, and I wasn't. But be careful. I think you need to hold this down for about 3 seconds. So hitting it once and for a half second or second is probably not going to send it. Just double check on that and be careful. So as you can see in my first video on the Defy, I went through what it does, and basically it's just a two-way communicator, and it has a check-in, but it's a small device. It lasts for about 4 days on the battery, 3 to 4 days. But there's no navigation, there's no weather, and the satellites are different, and there's no worldwide connectivity. You don't have global pole-to-pole coverage like you do with the Garmin or the ACR Bivy stick. So who is the Defy meant for? It's really meant for people that don't have a lot of money. Now this is just my opinion with all the field tests I've done and working with other satellite communicators. It does pretty well, but in my opinion, it's not as good as the Garmin's and even the ACR Bivy stick and some others like the Spot. And this is not going to be in the top 3 or 4 or 5 satellite communicators on any list that I make, unless that list is the least expensive satellite communicator on the market. it would hit the top of that. So if you don't have a lot of money, then I would say take a hard look at this. It may be the right satellite communicator for you. Just make sure that wherever you are in the world, you have connectivity. They are expanding that in the future, and there's probably going to be some other features that come out with it, but just make sure that you have coverage wherever you are. If you have a little bit more money, I would say save up a little bit or spend that extra money on an ACR bivy stick, the Zoleo, the Garmin Messenger, and the Garmin inReach Mini 2 and the GPS Map 67i. If you want navigation and standalone device and things like that, then you absolutely wouldn't look at the Defy. It's just a base model, in my opinion, for communication, SOS, some check-ins. I'm having some situations where it's working well and some that it's not, so you just have to double check it. Honestly, I'm just not a big fan of the Defy right now. Maybe in the future I will be, but as it stands today, it really is only for people that just need something on their pack and you don't have a lot of money. If you don't have a lot of money, as I did when I started out, then look at the Spot Gen 4. I started with the Spot Gen 3. It's a one-way satellite communicator, but it puts down breadcrumbs and it tracks really well. Again, you can only send out a few messages, a few custom messages, and you have the SOS, but it does have the breadcrumbs. On that note, even though the Defy doesn't have breadcrumbs, when you send out a check-in message and somebody gets it, as you'll see on the screen right here, I was able to see the check-in message, and then I could see my blue circle as I was moving. In particular, when I was in Woodland Park, I could see my check-in and I could see my blue dot where I was currently at as I was driving through Woodland Park and coming out here. So yeah, it's not a breadcrumb, but you can follow somebody. If you were to leave your map open, you could see them as they're traveling wherever they're at. So that's not bad. But if you want to know what the best satellite communicators of 2023 are, check the link right here, and then you'll also have it in the description below. And I go over the top 11 satellite communicators for 2023. Now, the Defy was not in that list. I didn't have it at that time, but I have all of the other satellite communicators, and I group them for what they're good at. And then at the end, I actually give you my opinion as to what I prefer the most. Well, if you like what you're seeing here, please like, subscribe, share, and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted as soon as I put out new videos. And leave a comment or question below if you want to know more information, or you disagree with me, or you like something else better than a Garmin Mini 2 or whatever it might be. I am open to discussions. As long as everybody's respectful, I'll engage you anytime and talk about what might be the best satellite communicator for you. Well, thanks again for joining me out here, and I'll see you back out here in Colorado in the next video.